Welcome to Scream Queen's Horror Movie Road Trip Podcast.
Oh, what's up, everyone?
Oh, hey, that's singstress is your final girl, Miss Justine.
Yes, hello. And then over here to my left, driving us all the way to our final destination is the sole survivor, Mr. Josh.
That's right. Here we are recording episode 31, heading to Baltimore, Maryland.
31, guys. Did you hear that? Did you hear it, everyone?
We're
31.
officially in our 30s.
Yeah,
Last episode we turned 30.
We dirty 30'd. We went real dirty 30. But now we're like sophisticated.
Now we're 30-somethings.
We're settled. We're accomplished.
We feel like adults.
We're adulting all the time. We're 31.
31. It feels good.
Feels good to be 31.
Well, here we are, episode 31, and we're heading to Baltimore, Maryland, like I said, and we're going to do a little Edgar Allan Poe trip.
Yes. I'm really excited about this trip. Drop here. I'm going to drop that right here at the top of our recording. I'm really excited about this trip.
Well, let's tell why. What are we going to do? We're going to see his grave.
Oh, yeah.
That's not morbid.
Yeah. We're just going to, just pass by, give a little wave.
Say hello.
A little salutation.
Hello, sir.
Good day, sir.
Good day, sir.
Yes, and so we're going to go see his grave. Hopefully, just, chill with him.
Yeah, we're just going to hang out, kick it. Then we're going to go see his house and his museum.
It's a little museum that we're going to go see up in here.
And then we're going to go to this bar that he frequented and was last seen in before
supposedly,
he died.
The last, place that last watering hole he went to before
he walked out and then got sick and...
Yeah, then he got, delirious and wandered the streets of Baltimore, and then somebody found him, and he was just acting like a hot mess. So they took him to the hospital, and he expired a few days later.
And we're also going to go to that hospital, perhaps.
Yes.
There's also... Oh, yeah, that watering hole is haunted now by him.
Yeah, apparently
so
Edgar comes out every now and then and tells the barmaids, hey, girl, you want to hook up?
And she's like,
pinches their bottoms.
Swipe
left. Oh, yeah, and that bar is also, the oldest bar in America that's been
continually
open
running.
Yeah, open from before, during, and after Prohibition. I like that during part.
Yeah.
Rule breaker, you got me. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She loves, a rebel without a cause.
I do. Give me a man without a reason
A reason to be naughty.
To be naughty, and I am just hello, good sir. Okay,
so what movie are we going to do since we're doing Edgar Allan Poe shit?
We are going back in time.
Taking it back
all the way back, 1964. A good Vincent Price, Roger Corman mix-up. The Masque of the Red Death.
The Masque of the Red Death.
Oh my God.
Oh, that took me back to the movie.
If only I could have done the soundtrack for them.
You should have.
I should have. I should have been asked.
You should have been born.
But I hadn't been born yet, so...
How could he?
He didn't know.
Don't be mad at him.
Sorry, 21 years later, you would have...
She's still holding a grudge against poor Roger Corman.
Roger Corman is a established director and producer in Hollywood. You should have reached out.
At the time, this was Roger Corman's biggest budget.
Yes.
It was his longest shoot.
He was touting, he was going around just throwing that money everywhere.
And it's very lavish for his kind of movie. No,
yes.
We love Roger Corman movies. But you can tell there's more production value in this than, say, The House. Or The Fall of the House of Usher, or,
Yeah, they had some good sets, but they also got to shoot outdoors, and he hadn't done that before, because he had some weird theory about, shooting indoors for aesthetic reasons, but he got over that.
He used a lot of sets from the movie Beckett. that had
Bend
recently.
it like Beckett?
Bend it like Beckett. No, you dizzy bitch. She's cracking herself up. Bend it like Beckett.
One, that's not even the name of that movie.
No, just Beckett.
Yeah, okay, anyways. So, yeah, set pieces. But also, Vincent Price, he's way more
he's the most Vincent
settled
Pricey.
he's settled into his Edgar Allan Poe vibe by now.
Oh, he is the most of the most.
He is like, I went to acting school.
I'm going to act.
I'm going to give you guys this best show. We are about to dive into this, and you are about to just receive, like, just a little tip-top of Vincent Price isms.
Tip of the penis.
Tip of the...
Vincent Price.
Okay, guys, just know that you do need to find this. It is available, like, on Amazon Prime, so buy it, rent it. You do need to see this because this is Vincent Price at his best.
Yeah.
It's super good.
It's him at his most extra.
Yes.
But you know what? His performance as Prince Prospero is my favorite Vincent Price performance.
Yes. But you all need to watch it.
It's Prince Prospero.
So do it. Prospero.
Yeah, it's set in, I guess, medieval.
Yeah, it's like medieval.
Or Renaissance. There seams to be like
maybe
a
mesh
mixture.
of, yeah, like maybe not quite an actual like established time, just
frame.
Maybe in the realm of
He was going for like
Renaissance.
It's like Renaissance medieval.
There's
Dark
archers,
Ages.
there's knights, there's dames, there's dukes, there's dwarves, there's ladies in conical hats, there's all that stuff. So,
it's in a time period.
It's in a
Let's
time
just say
period,
that.
and they are all speaking in British-ish languages.
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to say everybody.
But it's supposed to be set in Italy, which is the funny thing.
Yes.
It's Italian.
It's Italian. As grandmothers in Oklahoma would say, it's Italian.
Italian.
Okay, but yes, he is this prince in Italy. He has like a principality, and he's got villages, and he's not very nice. He doesn't take very good care of his townspeople.
He's terrible. He's not
Oh,
a good...
okay, we're just gonna...
not a good prince.
Not at all, in fact. No, he is very, like, maniacal, and he loves to just kind of cause chaos for the sake of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
the movie begins with this old lady. She's, like, picking up thistle or something.
She's getting some kindling for her fire. Yes,
and
she's in a foresty area.
And it's boggy, and
it's nighttime-ish.
Because that's the best time to get your kindling is
as
at
an
night.
old woman that might look kind of beggar-ish.
You know, it was medieval times. I bet she felt safe because she had her chastity belt on. Right?
And she probably wasn't even a grandma. She probably was like 24. But like life fucking sucked back then. So
she's like, hey,
no,
I'm 21.
They call her grandmother. So okay, but yeah. So this grandmother-ish lady sees this man completely, and he is completely cloaked in red. Even his face is red. He has gloves, and then sometimes his exposed skin everywhere is red. He's
red.
He is a red man, but literally a red man. And
she's
he's
not
all
making
like,
an
hey,
inappropriate
girl.
Native American joke.
I'm not. I would never.
Because she is Native American.
I am Native American. We can get into that later.
Red man.
But
she means a red man.
Yep.
Back off, Twitter.
We're like clearing that up right now.
We're not
even fucking around. This man literally is all in red. That's the thing. Okay, and he is like, hey, grandma lady.
Go warn the town.
Go warn the town with this rose that I give to you. And the rose is white, but then it changes to red.
And she's like, oh, okay, I know you mean it.
Yeah. He's like, your days of deliverance are upon you. And here's this, basically, plague to give your town.
Yep. He goes, go take it. Tell them they're all fucked.
Yeah. I mean, guys, we're all going at some time.
And so, next we're at the village. It's like, Grandma's already spread the word.
Yeah, and she might be a little
in rides this really cheap-looking box carrying Prince Prospero into town.
like just plywood.
And he almost runs over a baby.
Yes,
in the
he's
road.
not. Well, yeah. Well, he's just he doesn't care, guys. You're in his way.
Prince
That's
Prospero gives no fucks.
He gives no Italian fucks at all.
Italian fucks.
Or Italian. And okay, then there's this guy named Gino, and he rescues the little girl who almost gets run over by Prince Prospero.
And Prince Prospero sticks his head out. He's like, "What's going on here?"
And people are like, "You almost ran over this baby," and he's like, "I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck about no babies."
No, none at all. That's so mean." But and Gino's like, "You know what? You're a mean bitch. You're a mean man.
You're terrible.
And everything's gonna come down on you because Grandma told us that your days are numbered as well." And Prince Prospero's like,
seize him.
I don't even know what you're talking about, bitch. Y'all need to go on and die. And then Gino gets like apprehended by some of
the guards. He's like, he does his little clap.
Yeah.
His little like, get them guards.
Yeah.
He gives them that look that says, guards, get him.
Get him, bitch.
So they get him.
So Vincent Price just raised an eyebrow, and then movement
happened. And they were seized.
And that was good acting. And there is like another man that comes into the picture, and his name is Ludovico, but we're just gonna call him Ludo because you know
that's
cool.
what they do. It's Gino and Ludo.
And he is the father-in-law of Gino. And so we're like, oh, where's the bride? Where is she at? Well, she's about to come up because...
Yeah, because Prince Prospero says, kill them.
Yeah.
We're going to kill them. And so this girl named Francesca with killer bangs and awesome layered hair.
So basically a 1960s hairstyle, but on a medieval woman-ish.
Medieval woman.
And anyways, she's trying to talk to Prince Prospero, and she's like, "No, please don't." And then she gets bitch slapped by this knight.
He slaps her to the ground.
Prince Prospero's like, she was talking to me?
Yeah. He's like, why are you hitting the pretty one?
So she gets bitch slapped, and I bring this up because there's some bitch slapping that's going to happen in this movie. And let's just say, I liked it.
Okay. I was about to talk about how there was a lot of misogynistic 60s thoughts about women in this picture.
Bitch needs to shut up.
But you have a little slap happy over here.
No, I mean, it's terrible. Like, for no reason, men just be slapping women in the face. That's awful.
Yeah.
Okay, so as she's like pleading with him, she gets slapped. And then he's like, don't do that. You're going to need to choose between your husband and your father now.
And she's like, well, shit, one does me real good, and the other one does me real good. No, she's like, how do I choose between my father or the man I love?
And all of this is happening because Prince Prospero almost ran over a little girl.
A baby.
Like, so he almost ran over a little girl,
sure.
And now... there's like two guys that are gonna have to like some lady's just gonna have to
because Prince Prospero in his cheaply designed box carriage came not strolling. They weren't strolling. They came galloping through that town.
Yeah, they were probably buzzed driving. Honestly,
they were. Buzz driving is drunk driving,
and
guys.
you shouldn't do it. And that's what was happening in that carriage that day. But all of this is going down because of Prince Prospero's poor choices, not any of the townspeople.
Yeah. So these two guys' lives are at stake, and Francesca pleads with him, and he's like, you know what? I think I want you too. Come with.
Yeah, actually, all three of you come with. But right before they leave, there's this like screaming lady that's happening, and like, Prince Prospero's like, man, shut her up, but she doesn't shut up.
Yeah, he just seems annoyed by it. He's like, what is this screaming? Make it stop.
Make it stop. I can't handle it. Like, I am way too fragile.
And then he's kind of like, oh, no one's going to, I'm going to have to be the one that does this.
I'm going to have to do it, I guess. God damn it, if you just, why won't anyone listen? He stomps off.
I was going to say he sashayed off.
Oh, sashayed off.
it was more of a sachet.
Well, he did grab, like,
his frock.
There was a little, like,
little sashaying.
Yeah.
And he goes and peeks his head in, and there's this old lady. She turns her head and just screams with this weird zoom in on her face. It is very terrifying.
And what color is her face?
She's all red. She's all blotchy.
All red.
Girl, she's not be taking care of that. She's not be taking care of that skin. She hasn't been using her SPF.
You've got to use the SPF. It is essential, everyone. Grandma, why wasn't she putting on her SPF?
She got that red death because she ain't using her SPF.
Sunburnt her skin to the point of no return.
Well, Prince Prospero is also horrified. And he's like, oh, shit, let's get out of here.
She didn't use her SPF.
Have any of you guys touched this lady?
Did any of you put on your SPF? And, yeah, they're like, no, we didn't touch her. She's been in there just sunburned for days now.
We're just letting her
That's what you
scream
do
and
in
writhe
a medieval
in pain.
village. Like, why would I give the time of day to somebody who's
He's like, listen, we've seen some shit in this village. An old sick lady who didn't put on her SPF is not really of concern.
So he takes the three of them, Gino, Ludo, and Francesca. And as he's leaving, he tells his men to burn the village down. And they're like, hey, that's our place. He's like, well, no, not anymore. I'm going to burn it down.
He's like, fire, fire. So one of the signs of like a sadist or serial killer is fascination with like pyrotechnics or being a pyro technician. No.
All right. One of the first steps to becoming a serial killer is to light things on fire.
And you kill animals. And then you have like mommy issues.
And you've got some mommy issues. Well, let's just say Prince Prospero.
I think you can check those all off. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's hateful.
And now we arrive at his castle.
And it's
humongous.
Wonderful.
And there are people everywhere.
You might have seen this castle and Bend It Like Beckett.
Bend It Like Beckett. It might look similar to the movie Bend It Like Beckett.
Well, he like force bathes Francesca. Like these awful like maids are like stripping her down. It's very rough.
He's like, we're gonna have a little dinner tonight.
I'm like, remind me not to go to that spa.
Mm-hmm. He just like throws her in hot water.
And he's like, why do you cover yourself? And she's like, because I love Jesus and it's not appropriate for you to look at me.
This is my necklace that I'm wearing that says I love Jesus. And he's like, do you really love Jesus or do you just like say you love Jesus?
She's like, no, I believe full-heartedly.
Not that. My boobies I will never show my nipples on screen.
She's like, my nipples are also crosses.
So we find out that Francesca is a true Christian believer, and so she is not okay with having to take a bath in front of other people.
And in
or
front
just
of
take a bath.
Satan worshiper.
Well, we don't find that out yet.
Well, but we know. We've already checked off the 3 serial killers.
I know, but like that hasn't come out yet in the story. We gotta keep to that. And then we meet the head bitch in charge, the HBIC. Miss Juliana herself.
Oh, and you know,
she all shows up and she's like, who the fuck is in my bath?
How long does she have to stay? Oh, and you're going to tell me she's going to wear all my pretty clothes?
Yeah, he's like, hey, get this girl dressed in your finest outfit. She's like, I was going to wear that.
She's like, squat.
I was going to wear that tonight because we are having a feast again, because every night we have a feast, because it's Prince Prospero and he's indulgent.
Mm-hmm.
And
gluttony.
You can just tell that Juliana is going to have none of Francesca. She doesn't like it at all. And so, anyways, the next scene
She's like, you better step before you get stepped on, Francesca.
Oh,
is what she says in the movie.
What she literally says in the movie.
Yeah.
But
don't quote us on that. I'm sure when you watch the movie, you'll be like, where's that part where
you might think that that's not really what they said. But
just believe us. It's in there.
Yeah, we might have paraphrased slightly, but that's just for the sake of condensing the movie into the time that we're going to do this podcast. So
there you go.
All right. Have we explained it thoroughly?
They should get it. They're smart.
The
people that listen to us are awesome and smart. They get it.
And beautiful.
We love you.
Super sexy. And okay, so now we're at this feast that night. It's like every night there's like a ball basically. So there's a couple balls we're going to talk about, but this first one is where
just a couple balls we're going to talk about.
Yeah, couple balls.
Just a couple.
Cup those balls.
Cup
and
those balls.
A couple of balls. She gets to. Francesca is getting introduced to kind of all the people that are living at the castle, and we don't know yet why they're living at the castle, but there's a lot of fucking people at this castle, and
he likes to keep friends around.
When you're a narcissist, that's what you want to do, is keep people around that like you and just
tell you how wonderful you are.
Yeah, tell you how wonderful you are. And Prince Prospero is using this time on his soapbox to talk about fear and terror, and it's just another really good time for Vincent Price to give it his all on screen.
Yeah. I love him.
Yes.
He's so good in this movie.
We also meet at this ball Hop Toad and Esmeralda.
Oh, they're like, one is a little person and the other is supposed to be a little person but played by a little girl.
Obviously not played by a little person, and she's supposed to be like a tiny dancer.
And they have like a woman dubbing her lines, and it's pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
And there's also someone dubbing the little person's lines too, and you can tell it's not him really talking, or not his voice.
Yeah, it's interesting that they decided to dub them both over, but anyways.
Masque of the Red Death.
Yeah. We also meet Alfredo. Alfredo is not really like Prospero's friend, but he's like one of those like, you keep your friends close and your enemies closer kind of thing.
And he is played by the actor from A Clockwork Orange, Alfredo. He's the guy he gets attacked and his wife raped.
Yes.
And then Alex comes back at the end, to stay with him again, and he puts it together and, tortures Alex, and then Alex jumps out the window. Well, it's that same actor, and he plays crazy in this movie too, really well.
Yes. He plays a man who's kind of like
at the edge.
At the edge of everything. He is inappropriate in all mannerisms.
He's tired of Prospero's bullshit.
Yeah, everything's kind of come to a head, and there's all this sickness, this plague that's happening outside of the town, and so all these nobles basically are fleeing to Prospero and telling him how amazing he is, so they can stay there and be safe from it.
If they stay inside the castle walls, they're not exposed to the Red Death.
Yeah, and so all of this is over months of time that they've been just hanging out there, and so everybody's just getting on everyone's nerves almost, and Prospero's always walking around giving everybody little jabs
and ridiculing. He pours wine into Alfredo's face at one point later, and Alfredo's like, I have power influence too,
Yeah, and he's like, whatever, not like me.
Yeah,
but there is this scene that happens where the little tiny dancer,
she's like,
she puts her little performance on, and Hop Toad, this dwarf, is maybe they might have something romantic going on. You don't know if they do or not. It seems
like he's kind of like her pimp, and also maybe like their lovers. But
yeah, they live the circus life almost.
Yeah, so they travel together.
They are there also under the safety of Prospero, and they put on entertainment every night.
And so they're going to do a big show for everybody in the court, and she is dancing gracefully, beautifully. Oh, look at me. I'm going to come up on you, Alfredo, and dance to you, because I can see you looking at me.
Yeah,
and then
but she's not, like, sexy dancing. I mean, she's doing ballet. She's doing a ballet dance.
But Alfredo is being inappropriate and oogling her.
Yes, like, it's kind of gross.
Like, licking his lips, staring at this little girl.
He's, like, asking Prospero, like, if I could basically educate her. Like, it's gross. And
it's gross.
She gets a little too close, and I guess, like...
She's like, oops,
one of them had put their wine glasses on the floor, and she kicked it over. And this is where we get the other bitch slap.
He slaps
Alfredo
the fudge out of her.
Slaps this little precious baby angel dancing, gliding across this floor for these asshole nobles.
Oh, and all the nobles, everybody's shocked.
Everybody is shocked because they're
he
like,
just hit the little baby angel.
The little baby angel just got slapped, and we like her, and she puts on such a precious little show
She
for
was doing
us.
ballet. Why was your fucking goblet on the floor, Alfredo?
Yeah, honestly, Alfredo, it was your poor
Party
choices.
foul.
I think you need to go upstairs. I think you're cut off, and I think you need to go to bed. But
Bye, Alfredo.
instead, Prospero...
Guys, don't invite Alfredo anymore. He hits little girls.
Yeah, Prospero didn't like it.
He hits little baby angels.
And Prospero was like, you know what? I'm going to throw some wine in your face. And that's when Alfredo's like, you know what? I can do things too, you know.
He's pissed.
And Prospero, at that time, like right after that scene happens, he's like, you know what, guys? Tomorrow, we are going to put on a masquerade ball. And
it's going to be real fun.
You're all going to wear costume, and you're all going to look amazing, but don't any of you put on red. If you wear red, I will fuck you
I will
up.
knife you.
Yep. And
right in the gut.
He's going to get a knife and knife you. You're about to get knifed, bitch.
He's like, I have a falcon. I'll sick him on you.
I'll sick him on you. And then he says, this is one of our favorite parts. So afterwards, he's told everybody, like, look, we're going to have a ball, but let's enjoy tonight. And so he's walking around, and he starts giving little digs at people, and he decides that he wants to have everybody act like...
Can I say my favorite line in the whole
I want
movie?
you to say it. That's what I'm getting to.
Yes.
And so he wants everybody to act like farm animals.
And he goes, come, act according to your natures.
He just like walks around and is like, you act like a pig. You're laughing and it's annoying and it's so...
You sound like a fucking donkey.
You need to act like a jackass. And they all do. All the people like get on the floor.
Act like animals. They're riding each other. They're acting like chickens.
Yeah. They're just living these indulgent lives trapped basically in this castle with this madman.
Act according to your natures.
He thinks he's so cool. Like, he's that guy in high school who thought, I'm really fucking cool.
He's like, my dad owns a dealership, and I'm really rich, so come to my parties. It's the only reason you guys like me is...
My dad owns a dealership! That's so true.
So, hang out with me. You'll think I'm cool because I have the cool car, because my dad owns a dealership.
And I have, like, a new car every, like, 6 months. We're not judging at all. Okay, so now we've done the farm animals. Oh, okay. Later that evening, Prince Prospero and Juliana looks like Queen Bee. You know, like she looks like a very noble woman, well dressed.
She's got the cakes.
Yep.
She's got
cakes.
the titties.
She's got
the
and A.
titties up and out in this movie. She's like all corseted and yeah.
And they have this moment where she's like, this heart to heart, where she's like, I want to go deeper into our faith. And you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? And he's like, no, you don't. You're just here because you're afraid of Francesca's presence.
You're afraid she's trying to be Queen Bee.
Yeah. And Francesca is like laying in bed and she's sleeping. She's being all crazy with her bangs. And all of a sudden she hears like these loud Latin phrases being said. She's like, what is that? I'm going to go investigate. I'm going to go look around and see what's going on.
So she goes downstairs and there's this hall of colored rooms that are connected. It's kind of like what they call a shotgun floor plan, where there's a...
Damn.
You open one door and the house just goes straight back and you go through one room. Then there's the kitchen. You go through another room. There's the bedroom in the back. It's kind of that concept, but each room is different colors. And they're very moody and pretty, and like my interior designer would really dig it.
It's really cool, and like they open up, and every one of them leads into another more
like
colorful,
a white room,
vivid,
a purple room,
a yellow room,
a black room,
and she goes like all the way back to these rooms, and And she goes into the black room, and that's where she finds Juliana and Prospero. But Prospero's like sleeping in a coffin.
She's like, what the fuck? And
Juliana's
Juliana's being all weird.
Being all weird, like mumbling some Latin. And then she walks over to look at Prince Prospero, like, why is he sleeping in a coffin? And he, like, opens his eyes, and it's actually kind of frightening.
There's, like, another one of those weird zoom-ins, like
yes.
with the old hag. And he opens his eyes, and she freaks out and just starts running back upstairs. She's running. You think he's going to come chasing after her, but instead she runs into Alfredo with a mask.
Yes.
And the scene ends. It's really kind of like, well, where was that going?
It's dreamish like.
Yeah, it's very dreamish, and then she sees him the next morning, you know. And is this when he introduces the Falcon?
Yeah, and the next scene is this morning. They're out kind of maybe in like a courtyard, and Prince Prospero's like, hey, I got this Falcon, you want to see it? And I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna pull his dick right out on screen.
You want to see my Falcon?
And
you want to touch it?
Then it's really
touch my Falcon.
It's really a falcon. Like, he wasn't like meaning it was his penis.
He tells like a weird story about how in medieval times how they trained falcons. I guess they would sew the eyes shut so they could only depend on their other senses, and that's how you would break them down to know who their owner was.
Like, their master had dominance over them.
He explains it. Yeah, and you're like, oh.
He does that a lot. He likes to explain, like, cruelties.
I'm like, I'm not sure that's humane.
Yeah, definitely it's not going to happen anymore because we don't sew anyone's eyes shut. That's
to teach
weird.
them who's boss. I'm going to sew your eyes shut and teach you who's boss.
So you will always know and you will be scared. But he also confesses to something much more sinister in a way.
Oh, this is another one of the best lines of the movie.
Confesses to Francesca that
he's a Satanist.
He believes he is a disbeliever of God and a believer of Satan, the Lord of Flies.
But how he says, he goes, you've maybe heard of him. Satan, Lucifer, the Lord of Flies.
But the devil.
How he whispers, it's so dramatic.
It's awesome, and it is a laugh and a half.
You know, this whole movie, and I mean, what I'm going to say, I say this in the most loving way, because I actually love this movie. It has a very 60s, almost like Batman sitcom vibe. You know the 60s Batman show?
Yeah,
something about like the production
like
values and the colors of it. Like the bright, saturated colors really remind me of like a 60s TV show.
Yeah.
But like I said, like the Batman series or something along those lines. Like Gilligan's Island. It kind of reminds me of that. Like when just the set design looks very TV in a way, even though this is Roger Corman's one of his biggest budgets at the time. And like I said, I do really like it, but it does have that kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, you know what would be awesome is I wouldn't mind seeing this movie made now to see like what you could do with that story production wise.
Because he definitely took Edgar Allan Poe's short story and like ran with it.
Yeah, he actually took two short stories.
Yeah, and kind of combined them.
Because
added some characters.
The Masque of the Red Death is pretty sparse with characters.
It's like a mood piece almost.
Yeah,
like,
it's really just like, it's just
they mention Prospero, but it's not really even his story in a way.
No, he highly I kind of forgot what I was going to say, but yeah, he really did like take a lot of liberties with the story.
He highly.
He highly. Sorry, my eyes got distracted on the road, and then I kind of forgot what I was going to say.
Badass truck.
Sometimes like things going by us, vroom vroom, and I'm like, ooh, you're getting too close.
You're shiny and big.
No, that he just like, he did really take a lot of things and ran with it, because the story, the Masque of the Red Death itself, is by no means like, could you...
So I agree. I would like to see his version, like this story retold now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he is a follower of the devil. And now we're going to go, this is a really good scene too, where they go out onto the balcony and there approaches another prince maybe, or like a nobleman, something.
Oh, and he's like, please take me in.
Yeah, he's like, sorry, I showed up late to the party.
I'll let you screw my wife if you let us in.
Yeah, he's like, nope, sorry, the Red Death is like going on, and
that proposition was even a little too much. He's like, one, I've already done your wife, is what he says.
Yeah.
And then he's like, two, I'll just put you out of your misery. And he has his guards shoot him down with arrows.
No, he shoots them.
Yeah, he shoots them.
Yeah,
he shoots them down.
He really has no shame in like doing the dirty work too. So. And
he's like, what? They were gonna die of the Red Death.
Well, yeah, Francesca's like, how could you
misery.
do that? Why would you do that? And he's like, because I wasn't gonna let him in being all exposed, so I did them a kindness.
A kindness.
I did them a kindness.
Because I forbade it. That's another line.
Goodness.
He says, forbade.
And so you're probably wondering, because all we've done is talk about Prospero and Francesca and Juliana, and you're like, hey, what happened to those
Gino?
two guys?
Yeah,
well,
what happened to the two guys?
Now we're going to like start talking about them because they've come back into the picture, and they're in the dungeon, the like jail at the bottom, in the basement area.
And the jailers, the prison guards are like, I want you guys to fight each other.
Yeah, they're like basically making all of the people have sword fights, and Gino's like, well, I don't know how to sword fight. Like, I work in a village.
He's like, well, I want you guys to fight. And so he kind of forces him, so he starts cutting him. He's like, Prospero's not going to like it if you kill me. He's like, well, I won't kill you, I'll just cut you up.
I'll just cut you up. And he's like, well, that's not nice.
Yeah, he's like, well, I don't like this, so I guess I will fight
sadistic. And so he actually ends up beating the jail. And at this time, when this happens, Prospero has brought Francesca down.
So he's like about to kill him, and then it's like, oh shit, well, there's Prospero.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, see, you should never underestimate someone who, like,
you think is a loser.
Yeah,
basically,
because they have nothing left to lose.
Yeah.
He is.
He gives so many grand little speeches.
He's your papa who wants to walk around and just tell you like all of these little
He's a
things.
philosopher.
Yeah,
he likes to philosophize.
Yes, he's
a philosopher,
giving you all the dadisms. Things that you're like, yeah, no, it's evident, we understand.
Like,
but he's
thanks,
like,
Dad.
I'm going to say it this way, and then you'll remember it, maybe. Yeah, so
like, that's my philosophy.
Francesca Franny.
Yes, Francesca Franny.
Prospero's like, okay, Franny, so just to let you know, tonight at the ball, these two dudes are coming up, and you're going to have to choose, because I forgot about that, even though you've been walking around, and I've been letting you do whatever you want. You took a bath, and you didn't show me your titties.
And you still don't like me.
You still don't like me, so just letting you know, you're going to have to choose between these two guys. Or maybe I'll come up with something more sinister. He's so funny.
It becomes like a dating game show. She's like, well, one's my dad.
But he does do me really good. So, oh my gosh. Next, we get a fun scene where Juliana, with titties out, brands herself with an upside down cross.
She's like speaking in pig Latin and
asking a demon to come inside her. I'm like, that is gross. And
brands herself with an upside down cross.
That's gross.
That's nasty.
Come inside me, demon. That is.
Doesn't she know? You always have demons use protection.
A demon should always wear a condom. Yes. You don't want no demon, baby.
That's dumb. She needs to go back to 5th grade when they separate the boys and girls, and you watch those little videos.
Oh my gosh, I had to watch that video, and I just felt plain awkward.
I remember our teacher after was like, if you guys ever need to come talk to me, you can always talk to me like a brother. And in my head being like, gross, I will never come talk to you.
Never in a million fucking years come and talk to you about anything that was just shown in this video. You are the last fucking person that I want to talk to about that.
I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Tupper, can you tell me about cum?
Mr. Tupper!
Like, please.
My 5th grade teacher's name was Miss Yateman.
Hyman?
Miss Yateman.
Yateman.
Hyman!
Anyways, let's get back.
And so after Juliana brands her titties upside down cross style, we go to a scene where Alfredo and Hop Toad are talking, and Hop Toad's like, hey, I have an idea. I should come work for you because I'm tired of working for Prospero, and I have a really good idea about what you should wear to the ball.
He's like,
it's too just.
And Alfredo's like,
strange.
Something suspicious. He's like, well, no, I don't really like Prospero anymore, and Prospero's probably going to die, and you need to take over.
Yeah, I've
real protection.
seen you assert yourself, sir, so
but
I
this whole time you're like, he's setting up Alfredo for something. Hop Toad is pissed at Alfredo
Hop Toad,
for slapping his little baby angel girl.
Yeah, Hop Toad's got an ulterior motive.
Mm-hmm.
And he convinces him to wear a
modern-looking gorilla suit.
An ape costume to the ball. To the balls?
To the balls.
To the walls.
To the walls.
Now it is kind of close to evening time, and Juliana has decided that she wants to help Franny escape. She's like, here's the keys.
Yeah, get out of here, Franny.
Take the boys and run.
Get out of here, Franny.
And we're like, why in the world would Juliana really want to do that?
What does she have up her medieval sleeves?
Yes, those asymmetrical sleeves. And she obviously was not trying to. She did not have a turn of heart.
She was setting her up.
She was setting her up.
Prospero catches them.
Prospero catches.
They're nearly away.
They
too.
are.
Like,
it's
girl,
sad.
You're so close.
And they had killed people while getting out.
So that upsets Prospero even more. He's like, you killed my god.
And I thought you were a Christian.
Yeah, according to your religion, you should burn.
You're a sinner.
Yeah.
And so he's like, so you guys are for sure gonna have, one of y'all's gonna have to die, and there's no getting around it now. Let's go to the party. So the party, he's like, okay guys, at midnight we're gonna put our masks on, but let's eat a whole bunch of food and watch these two guys go at it. And it is a funny scene where they have to cut each other. The dad and the husband have to cut each other with daggers.
They're cutting themselves.
Oh yeah,
they cut their forearms because there's 5 knives stuck in the table, and one supposedly has a poison in it, and that poison takes 5 seconds and you die. Whoever basically gets the poison first is going to be the one that dies.
That's what Prospero says.
Yeah, so they start doing it, and they start doing it. They start cutting their forearms, which is really gross. It's gross. It's gross.
You're like, ew.
You're like, grody.
Ew, is that
Gag me with a spoon.
No. Yeah, they each take turns
cutting
themselves with the knives, and then and nothing's happening, and they get to the last knife,
and homeboy daddy is like, I'm gonna do something.
Because if nothing's happened, then the last knife is the one that had the poison on it. So he's like, why not go out with a bang? So he tries to kill Prince Prospero.
But they get him. They get him quick.
Yeah, he gets stabbed, and
he's like, you did not play the game properly, so both of you shall die.
Yeah, and
Franny again is like, please spare him.
You cannot do that.
It's like maybe like the 3rd time she's done that in this movie.
And she's like, you know what? I'll do whatever you want if you will spare him. And he's like, oh, okay. You'll like
do anal.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll like let me put it in your butt. And she's like, yeah, sure. And so Gino gets thrown out of the castle, and he's like walking around in the forest, and I guess Prospero and Franny are doing anal. I don't know yet.
Well, we know that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing. And he's out in the forest, and he's like, oh no, what am I? If I go to the village, I'm going to get the plague, and I can't go back to the castle.
Because they want to kill me there.
What should I do? And he finds this, like, red-cloaked man in the forest playing tarot cards.
He's like, I'm going to talk to him.
And he's like, hey, Gino, what's up? I know everything because I'm the man in red, and...
We have some big, sexy bikers
we
big,
have
sexy biker wives going by.
Damn. They are all in black and jeans. Man, it's a hot day to be wearing jeans.
But anyways, back to our...
Yeah, so Gino is talking to the red man, and he's like, look, I'll show you my tarot cards. They say this is going to happen, Gino, and so take that to the castle and go get Franny. Go get her. Go get Franny. And he's like, okay. So he's going back to the castle. And at the castle, Alfredo's getting his ape costume on.
He's getting raped costume?
He's getting his rape costume on.
What?
His rape ape costume on.
Yeah. Well, he's about to get fucked wearing this ape costume.
But let's talk about this costume.
We've said fuck a lot today.
Well, let's talk about this fucking costume.
Okay, let's talk about this fucking ape costume.
This ape costume, mind you guys, didn't we tell you that it's supposed to be during medieval times? So there's this ape costume that looks like something you could still rent today.
You can still get it.
With plastic.
Yeah, it's the most modern looking ape costume.
Yeah, like the band that goes around, like where the mask is, totally
It's
looks
all
like
rubber,
elastic.
yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like that
Like,
is not at all trying to stick to the period.
No, it's pretty funny.
And
But to each their own.
yeah, and like the Hop Toad guy is dressed up in green, and he is like supposed to be like the ape tamer. He's like, I am keeping you tame from the deepest depths of Africa. Here comes, you should walk around, look like an ape. And he's like all slapping his bottom.
And then he has this thing come down from the ceiling. Aren't they at the party now?
No, they're not. They were still getting dressed and stuff. So anyways, he's like, okay, let's go down to the party. So he goes down to the party, and it's midnight, and everybody's like putting their masks on.
And he's like, look, I brought an ape.
Yeah, the Hop Toad guy's like, look here, what I found. And
the deepest Africa.
here is the ape. And it's Alfredo in the ape costume. He's like, bah!
And then dropped this chandelier from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And Hop Toad ties him up to it, and they pull it up. And this is pretty. The scene is
graphic.
They
like,
light him on fire.
The Hop Toad's like, oh, do you want something to drink? Because like he says like maybe he's like hot or something. He pours like brandy all over the costume. And then he lights it on fire.
Mm-hmm. And there's Alfredo inside burning to death.
And everybody's like screaming, but kind of laughing.
Yeah,
like,
they're like, whoa, this is fucked up.
You got what's coming to you, dumb bitch.
Like, Alfredo, we never liked him. Remember when he spoke out? Like,
and
what
Prospero's like, I loved it. What good entertainment. Here, go give that guy some money. And Hop Toad's like, run off because he and Esmeralda are running away.
Mm-hmm. With their money.
Tiny dancer. And we've got Juliana. She's like taking some wine and speaking some Latin in her room, and she is taking some hallucinogens. Basically, she's going to do her final ceremony to make herself married to the devil or whatever.
She has this crazy 60s acid
trip. Yes.
I was gonna say flashback, but I'm like, no, she's straight up tripping.
No, she's tripping, and she's laying on this like slab. She's dreaming that she's laying on this marble slab, and that these men dressed up in costume,
almost different tribes from around the world or something, or like stabbing her with knives.
Yeah, they're like scraping her with all kinds of...
They're like dancing and then pretending to knife her.
And she's just like, it's very erotic as well. Like, she's screaming, but then she's also looking like maybe she's having an O.
Like pinching her nipples.
Yeah, tweaking and twerking.
And if you watch the movie and she doesn't pinch her nipples,
we might have made that up.
We might have made that up.
And then she's rubbing her pussy, but that could also have been made up too. We just don't know. At this point, we're delirious as well. So, and then, so as she's tweaking, we've got villagers outside that are like, please let us in. And Prince Prospero is like, no, I'm not going to let you in. Prince Prospero... He's like, no, you weren't invited to the party.
He doesn't let anybody in. He doesn't let anybody close to him.
His walls are up.
His walls are up.
He doesn't let anyone
in. He's very introverted.
And he shoots them with an arrow as well. And Gino had tried to warn those people. He had seen them, like, on the road, because he's headed back, to get Franny. And he's like, no, go to them. Like, it's no good.
You're
like,
gonna die.
And so, anyways, he was warned.
Well, and then Homegirl wakes up from her erotic dream, Isn't this when she comes down? She's like, I am now more powerful than you, Prospero.
Yes.
She's like, I done did it with Satan, and he likes me better now.
Yeah,
Because I put out.
I am a lady, and I have TNA, and the devil liked me better. And here's some pussy shots, so then there's that we get to see. And then she's all like, yay, look at me, I'm wonderful, Prospero. I don't even want to be with you anymore because, like, I'm better than you, and I'm over you.
So, bye. And then he's like, oh, yeah, well, I have a falcon.
And then there's, like, a bird that comes swooping in and clawing out
her
takes
her
face
out.
and her chest and boobies.
She's all
tits
cut
and
up
ass,
from
and
this
she's
bird.
bleeding all over the floor, and then she's
I assumed
dead.
it was the falcon.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a falcon, it could have been a raven, it could have been a bald eagle.
Oh, it is Edgar Allan Poe. Maybe it was the raven.
Maybe it was a raven. But yeah, so she's all bleeding out, dead on the floor, and Prospero's like, oh, don't worry about her. She went to go marry a friend of mine. So
she married the devil.
She went and got hitched. She probably looked beautiful in her white dress.
She was very pure, so was the devil. They both were chaste until
he wore his chastity belt as well. And now we are at the ball, and we're all dancing around, and Prospero's dancing with Franny because he thinks that, like, she's with him forever.
And everyone has bad suntans.
Yeah, everybody does look tinged orange. It's the makeup. It's the times. And there's a man in red, and Prospero's like, what? Somebody's wearing red when I forbade it?
Yeah, when I forbade it.
Someone's wearing forbaded red?
Forbid, forbade, forbud.
For fuck's sake, no. And so he walks off, and
I forbade it.
I forbade it, so I'm gonna go get him. So he's going to get him, and he's like, hey, slow down. And he's like, no, I'm gonna go down that corridor of rooms that you've got here that you guys just, put all of your paint into. They're very vibrant colors.
Yeah.
It's very, very woo, that's orange.
He's
or
like,
woo,
wow,
that's yellow.
you love color.
Yeah. And he goes all the way to the back of there, where the black room is, and he's like, hey, slow down. He's like, okay, I finally stopped. And then we find out that, or we think we find out that, or Prospero thinks we find out that the man in red is the devil. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you. And the man in red's not really saying anything about being addressed as the devil or anything.
But there was someone had said something later that when death arrives, he'll have your face.
Yeah.
There was someone said that earlier in the movie.
Yes.
And so he's like, who are you under there? I forbade it.
I forbade it. And he's like, oh, you know who I am. Let me go show you. And so he takes them out to the ballroom. And then everybody's covered in blood, red, and
but like 60s blood, they're like, we can't go too hardcore.
Yeah, so it's actually, it just looks like body paint.
We'll put red body paint on them and then put little slivers of blood.
Yeah, just
it still looks really cool. This is
why I say I would like to see this movie made now.
Yeah, see people
doused in blood on a dance floor, and maybe the period piece, the sets and everything look a little bit better, just like the production value, maybe even better.
Roger Corman, bless his heart,
I'm not shitting on that. I'm just saying this is maybe a remake I could get behind.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the dancers are all covered in blood, and Prospero's like, oh, Franny, I don't want you to be involved in this. Man in red, the devil, Lucifer, please, can I send her away? Because he realizes, that the red plague is there, and it's in the castle, and he's like, can I just, can you save her? And he's like,
because he loved her.
He loved me.
Oh, girl, you get that record.
And the man in red's like, yeah, sure, go. So Franny leaves, and then Prospero's like, thank you so much, Satan, for allowing me that kindness. That kindness. And the man in red's like, I'm not the devil. Why do you keep calling me that? He's like, well, I assumed it.
And
I worship you.
My
He's
girl
like,
over there just...
No, actually, you guys are all fucked up and you believe in something that's outlandish, and death is death. I am death. Everybody's gonna die. You're not immortal. Juliana's not immortal. Nobody's marrying Satan. Fuck you guys.
He's like, so let me take my red mask off, and look who I am. Oh, it's me. It's me as you.
Me as you. Yeah.
So you
he
dead.
takes his little mask off, and Vincent Price sees Vincent Price.
So when death comes, he'll have your face.
He'll have
Vincent
your
Price.
face.
Prince Prospero.
Prince Prospero, you dead, and he was dead. Like,
He died. He
dead,
died.
baby dead, died.
He died his death.
And then we have a final scene in the forest where the red man is...
There's this really awesome pride moment at the end of the movie where all the colors of the rainbow.
All these different cloaked men show up, and they're like, hey, I just came from this village and took 10,000, and hey, I just went to this village and where I left 900 people are sleeping forever.
Damn.
And you realize that these cloaked men are just all the different plagues of the time.
Yep.
Like, there's the
Red,
bubonic plague.
Red was the rabies, right? You told me. Justine
I
looked up these facts.
Like, yellow was like cholera, and all kinds. Purple was another. They had all kinds of plagues. That's what the Pride Parade was. Was just all these plagues. And so then the scene ends with them walking off. I guess, to their next towns to go take those
kill
extra
some more
lives.
people.
And he said that he only left 6 alive. The red man said, I only left 6 alive in my village. The Hop Toad and Esmeralda, but he was like the dwarf and the tiny dancer.
Yeah.
Gino and Franny, but he just said a young man and woman. And then I left an old man alive and a young girl in the village. And that young girl is the one from the very beginning that Prospero almost ran over. And then, but I think, like, with the old man and the young girl, what he was really hinting at is just, like, that, like, illness and plague, there's, the old man could survive the plague, and there's no rhyme or reason for it, but, like, that's just what happens in life, is that an old man could survive where 25 million young people died, and then the young girl could survive where all of those children died, so... He's just saying how fickle death is.
It's just disease.
Yep, disease and famine.
Disease-ridden world.
And then the movie ends.
This world we live on is nasty.
It's nasty. Movie ends, and
it's wonderful.
now it's time. We're gonna have to end because we are getting.
We're getting close to Baltimore, y'all.
Super close.
We'll let you know how all our Edgar Allan Poe activities
travels go. We're really excited. I've never been to Baltimore before, so it's my first time.
I have family and stuff from this area, so I grew up coming around to these parts, so it's fun to share it with Miss Justine.
I've been to Maryland and stuff. I just never hopped on over to Baltimore. So this is exciting for me. Can't wait to share, chronicle our adventures for you guys. We love you, and we'll see you in a couple of seckies. All right?
Bye. Stay tuned.
Bye, bitches.
Baltimore-ish of Baltimore days.
It was a Baltimore day for me, for you, for me.
For all of us. From all of us here at Scream Queen.
It was a Baltimore day.
It was a happy, shiny Baltimore Edgar Allan Poe day.
I hope you have one yourself someday.
Before we go any further, we want to give a shout out to a couple people who've left us reviews on Instagram.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so.
And on iTunes, right?
Yes, on iTunes. What did I say?
You said Instagram, but there are people from Instagram that have given us reviews on iTunes.
Yes. We want to, like I said, give a big shout out to Michael Long and Justin Blanton.
Yes. Follow them on Instagram at mzombiepunk.
And _J Blanton _.
Hell yeah.
They are awesome people with really cool Instagram pages. Check them out.
They're awesome.
We love you.
We love you. Let's get back to what we were just doing, though. We had an awesome time in Baltimore. We went down to Fells Point, and we also went to like the Inner Harbor, and we started out by going to the Westminster Hall and the grave burial area.
Yeah, you go in and there is, the first thing you see is a monument where he is currently buried. Edgar Allan Poe, the man himself.
And I think that's where he will remain buried. There's just something that happened before that he's just staying there.
Right.
Because you said currently, I didn't want it to be like, oh, and then he's going to be moved somewhere. He just was laid to rest somewhere else as well.
Right. He has an original spot.
Yeah.
And that's where he was buried. But then they built a monument at the gate entrance. And so they moved him to that, like, at the turn of the century or so. I forget when it said it was complete. Maybe like 1920s, maybe.
I think you're right.
More or less, give or take. So that's what I meant by currently.
Yeah. And he's laid to rest but with his wife and his mom.
That's right.
So family.
So it's in a really cool cemetery downtown Baltimore, and it's gated off. It's kind of like has almost like a courtyard atmosphere, and the graves are so old and lots of overgrowth, and then there's a lot of other famous Baltimoreans buried. Like Frederick Scott Key, wasn't he buried in there?
Yes.
Like, yeah, a bunch.
There's a lot of people that kind of like during the
Revolutionary War and stuff are buried there. So that was really awesome to see. To be taken back.
It was very quaint, and even though it was in a very busy area of the city, there's a hospital, one of the VA hospitals is just located right next door to it, and so it's very loud and there's a lot of traffic. It's quiet in the cemetery.
Meet me at the cemetery gate.
And so I enjoyed that a lot, getting to read and just be taken back in time.
And then from there, we went to the Edgar Allan Poe house, which unfortunately there's a lot of construction going on, so it was closed. The museum was apparently not open on Mondays. And it's only open, Thursday through Sunday?
I think like 4 days a week or something it's open, so, and there is a tremendous amount of construction literally right next door. But we saw and took pictures.
And we took lots of pictures. People took pictures of us. And we took pictures of them.
Yes.
So, yeah, we got some pictures of the house. But, it was kind of sad we didn't get to go to the museum. We're like, oh, of course, this is how it worked out.
Yeah. But we did get to kind of walk around the neighborhood where Edgar Allan Poe would have once walked himself.
We're just like, ooh,
ooh, yay.
This is where he was. From there, we went over to Fells Point, which is a really cool neighborhood in Baltimore that's by the water. It's kind of near the Inner Harbor, on the Inner Harbor.
Yeah.
And there's lots of shopping and bars. And
it's the hip place, where everybody's going to go.
All the hipsters.
Seems like it's always been the trendy area, because even Edgar Allan Poe went to a bar that was down there, so...
It's apparently haunted by him to this day. But the only thing it was haunted by when we were there was loud-ass singer-songwriter music. No, it was like a guy doing, like, covers. Yeah. But it was loud AF. We're like, all right, it's 3 PM, buddy.
Yes. I mean...
We're trying to, like, chit-chat. No, it was cool.
He had it amp powered up, man. He was making sure that... from the entrance to the exit in the back, you could hear him.
Yeah, from the windows to the wall.
Oh, yeah. And the sweat was dripping down his balls.
Ew, don't go there.
No, it wasn't. Okay, let's talk about the food. Okay, the atmosphere was kind of fun, old country music sadly Josh and I know way too much about living in Oklahoma.
You could tell that it was a really old building, too. Like, they have, of course, done updates and renovations, but they still keep a lot of, like, the old cobblestones. Well, the whole street outside is cobblestones, and on the inside, it's, like, this old stone.
Yeah, the electrical work is outside of it. The air conditioning ducts are all
the
separate
piping
from the...
and stuff. It's really... So that gave you the atmosphere, and we had some... what did we drink?
Oh, they were Pendulum Pilsners.
Pendulum Pilsners. I was like, what Edgar Allan Poe book was it?
The Pit and the and the Pendulum.
But even the little spigot, or I don't know, what do you call that? Where it comes out.
Where the beer drink comes out. Yeah,
the thing you pull. What's that called? The spigot.
It's where you
tap.
pull. The tap. There you go. Yeah.
It was Edgar Allan Poe.
You're right. It was good too. It wasn't just like,
it was tasty.
Oh, here's an Edgar Allan Poe beer because we have some like history here. No, it was very tasty. I had 2.
Yeah, I had 2 of them. 2 of them.
2 of them. And we had some pub food. It was pretty good. Had some like crab Philly cheesesteak-ish sandwich. Yum yum. Y'all should go.
So yeah, it
the
was
horse
just
you came in on.
an Edgar Allan Poe Baltimore day, and we walked around the water afterwards.
We also saw the Washington Monument that overlooks Baltimore.
Yes.
That's in the movie Pecker.
Yeah, it's a statue on the top of a building. I guess who is it supposed to be? Washington?
It's supposed to be Washington, but like during his surveyor days.
And the way his hand is positioned, it looks like he's got a big
It looks
boner.
like he's got a belly button boner.
Yeah, it's a little high up, but it's hilarious.
Yep. It's like a little wiener. So let's talk about our fave scenes.
Let's take it back to the movie.
Yeah, we gotta get back into the movie.
The Masque of the Red Death.
Let's talk about it, Josh. Like, what's your fave scenes?
I really love the chaos when Hop Toad burns Alfredo in the monkey suit.
Everything comes to an end.
It's just hardcore. You're like, whoa, he's burning this man alive. He tricked him into wearing that suit.
Yes.
And I mean, Alfredo fell for it because he's an asshole.
He's
he
narcissistic.
Wanted to be noticed.
Yeah.
And he wanted to make the biggest scene at the ball. Well, he got it.
I mean, okay. So, Alfredo has to die a very terrible, cruel death because he slapped someone?
Hey, you don't mess with his girl.
Yeah, so Hop Toad is no one to be fucked with. That's for sure. No, that scene is
Hop
really
Toad's
awesome.
like, come at me. Come at me. Just watch. Just wait. I'll burn you.
I like that scene a lot. I'm just going to go a little bit further into that scene with the Masque of the Red Death, the titular,
where everybody's bloody.
And it's a great scene. Everybody gets covered in,
blood.
Bloody, just dancing around. It's a very well choreographed dance, and the camera works really good, kind of getting this 360 of everybody turning into these dead people, and the masked guy, who we know now is just himself. Oh my gosh, Daddy Prospero. Yeah.
Prince Prospero, Vincent Price, our lover.
The devil.
The devil.
And so I like that scene. That entire that whole last 20 minutes is
I love all the brutality
artistry
of Prospero when he's just being straight up gangsta and shooting arrows at people that went into his palace.
He's straight gangster. He is. I mean, he lives like, I guess, a type of thug life. Like he's
like, don't come.
You definitely wouldn't want to live in his like kingdom, his like area,
no
principality.
Way. Nope, not me.
Yeah, you definitely would not have wanted to double cross Hop Toad.
Oh, and I love the scene when she goes down. Redhead girl, or main girl, Francesca.
Yeah,
yes.
Franny.
Yes, I love drinking Francescas. That's my favorite soda. It's a nice cold Francesca. I mean Fresca.
A little bubbly, a little
Dad
Fresca.
jokes. When Francesca goes down, she hears like the loud noise through all the layers of castle. She somehow hears him talking.
Oh
loudly.
my, yeah.
And she sees him in the casket, and he opens up. And she runs, and her gowns are flowing, and she's running through a castle, and it's all brightly, all the colors are so saturated. I love it.
I love it. You know what? I'm also going to throw out there.
I love seeing a lady run in a gown.
I love the Juliana scene where she's taken, she's drank the Kool-Aid, and she has her, like,
She burning her
crazy
titties.
when she has her crazy dream of all those men savagely like
Yeah.
dancing around her and slicing her up.
Oh, the scene where she drops acid and
yes, she took the Kool-Aid.
masturbates.
She does masturbate, I guess. I mean, it's definitely there. She is like getting her O face on several times.
It's like some kind of horny fever dream is what that is.
This is a great movie, guys.
I do like when she like burns her titties.
Oh, when she with the upside down cross, yeah.
There's just some crazy stuff.
Brands herself.
Bravo, Roger Corman. Bravo.
Magnifico. Magnifico. All right, should we get to knives, or does it look like? I mean,
let's do our knives rating.
All right. I'm doing 5 knives.
Yeah, I mean, as campy as this movie is, it's my favorite Corman and Vincent Price matchup.
Yes, it is definitely something that you've got to get into. If it's a blind spot for you in horror, it was for us. You got to get into it.
They're good fun. They're the right amount of like camp, but at the same time, kind of keeping true to the source material with Edgar Allan Poe. Mm-hmm. And I think they do a good job. There are actual creepy moments in the movie, but there's also brevity and a lightness to it too, because
brevity. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roger Corman, very much.
Mm-hmm.
Scream Queens appreciated. Scream
he does
Queens.
a good job mixing the yin and the yang in this movie. The
Wang?
the wang. He mixes the wang. And what I mean by that was like how colorful it is, but at the same time it's such dark. I mean, it's a movie about the devil.
Yes, but it is very vivid. The rooms that, lead to each other, they're so vibrant. And then in those rooms, Prospero will tell a story about how his dad locked a man in this room for 3 years so that he never wanted to see the color yellow again, and died a terrible death. And you're like, oh,
that's so mean.
Shit's going down in a sunny yellow room. I mean, it's a good one.
I love it.
You gotta see it.
So guys, that's it for episode 31. We'll be back with episode 32 soon. We're gonna go back and do our Zombie 5K, and we're gonna, talk about the original great zombie movie, Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming at you, George Romero.
Go hit us up on iTunes. Leave us a review. Give us that 5-star rating. Write a nice little review. We'll give you a shout out.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening.
Yes.
Love
Check us
guys.
out on ScreamQueensPodcast.com and all the places, all the social medias.
All right. You ready to ride off into the sunset? Soul Survivor?
Let's go.
Peace be with you guys. Bye.